Good evening, fuckers. We are back with the next Train Simulator Classic request video. And this one, well, after 15 consecutive passenger runs, I thought it's about time we had another freight run. And this is quite a long one. We are going from Bicester Village. Well, we're actually just outside it when we start. But yeah, we were going from there to Bristol Temple Meads. Now this is a journey of, you can see quite clearly there, 87.6 miles. It's a long one. Obviously there's going to be no stops along the way, and we are going to be on the Western Mainlines for the entire trip. But because of the train we're in, we are in a class 66. And our cargo, or the freight that we are shifting 20 OTA wagons, which are all full. These are log transporters. I fairly recently did a video where I was doing the entire Kyle line. It was a request from Northlander, and I was transporting logs in that. It's fair to say that what I was using in that was probably not what he had in mind. In fact, he even said so, but I mean, he wasn't fussed, because at the time that was the only way I could do it. Well, I now have these OTA wagons, and I think these are the kind that he was hoping to see. So now, because of the train we're in, I think we might be able to get a bit of speed up here. It's not going to be another one where we're crawling along at, 35 or 40 mph all the way. I think we can get up to, well, 60 will be the max, because we are in a, because of the weight in that, we're in a class 7 freight train. So we can't do more than 60, but I think 60 is certainly doable. Now, as for the specifics, it is summer, it is clear, and it is 9 AM. So there, well, normally there would be a lot of traffic on the lines here, but of course this is a quick drive one, so it's really not going to make any difference. So that is the setup. Let's get this up and running. Well, yeah, I certainly was going to edit out the loading time. That took a long old while. So right, let's get the loco set up. Right, so tail lights off with instrument lights on, and yeah, lights set to daytime. We're already in the good settings, so I don't need to change the brake timings or anything. So that is, I'm pretty sure that's the setup all done. Yep. That alert only comes on when you first set the reverser. I do have the DVD isolated. So let's take a look at our train. So you can see we are not actually at a station. You can also see that our train is, in this dark green. In fact, it's the retro British Railways green. And it was even given a retro name. If you saw my video where I was driving the standard class 9F, the steam train, and I was saying that the Evening Star is not included in that pack, but I do have a train called the Evening Star. Well, here it is. Now, there's not many people who, on hearing that, we have, I've got the Evening Star in this game, would have thought it was a class 66. So there goes I think that's a 166. It's quite a long old one, whichever one it is. I'm trying to see. I think it is a 165. In fact, it's just buggered off because it went through a portal. So here is our freight consist. So yeah, these OTA wagons are all open. You can clearly see they are all full. And we have 20 of them. So yeah, Bristol Temple Meads then 87.45 miles. Quite a distance to cover. So let's get the brakes off, because with goods timings the brakes take quite a while to come off. And the OTA wagons are not overly heavy actually, even when fully loaded, but I do have 20 of them. So yeah, they do certainly add up, and the weight means that yeah, this is a class 7 freight train. So we have maximum speed of 60 mph available to us. Okay, let's get underway. This is one of the revised low emissions 66s, which I'm sure Greta Thunberg will be you know, delighted to hear. She may not like the fact that I'm helping with a bit of deforestation, but I mean, look, the train's green. What more do you want? So you could even say this is a lumberjack route, a lumberjack run. I'm a lumberjack and I'm okay. I'm not going any further with that one, except to say that I do not put on women's clothing and hang around in bars. So yeah, we come off. I mean, we did actually start on the Chiltern Main Line, but we are taking this branch off here. So we're now off the Chiltern Main Line. So if we'd stayed on that line, we would have eventually ended up in Birmingham. In fact, we got to turn around and start going in completely the opposite direction. So you can see on the route display that Bicester Village station is coming up. Now we do have, we're on a 1 in 90 downhill gradient here, so I don't think we want to be going too fast, especially as we have quite a tight curve coming up here. So once we're off the curve, we'll then start picking up a bit more speed. I mean, we are still accelerating because of the downhill gradient. So I did come up with a bit of a scenario for this one, because I'm not quite sure why logs would be getting transported to Bristol from Bicester. And what I came up with is that these logs are needed for the Eden project, and they didn't want to cut down any of their own trees, so they've ordered in a supply, quite a hefty supply of logs. We are bringing them in. So I have taken over the driving duties at the turning for Bicester Village, or at least the turning on the Chiltern Main Line, which would take us through from Bicester Village. So here is Bicester Village station. And we go from here to Temple Meads, where the next driver will then take over. He gets the pleasure of trying to take 20 full wagons through the approach to Plymouth. I'm spared that pleasure. So I think the next station that we'll be going through is Oxford Parkway, or certainly Oxford of some kind. Quite pleasantly surprised we didn't get the this route is very memory intensive, save regularly, blah blah blah. Well, there's a 143 there. I never thought I'd see one of them, especially on this route. It's a bit out of place, I think, that one. So we're on a nice straight section here. It's pretty level. In fact, let's take it right up to notch 8. Give it a full whack. There's a reasonable amount of clag coming out of here. As we get closer to 60 mph, obviously I will throttle down. So according to the ETA, it's going to take us somewhere in the region of 2.5 hours to get from from here to Temple Meads. I'm not even 100% sure what route it's going to send us, but I'm relatively certain it will keep us on the Western Mainlines until we get to Bristol Parkway, and then from there we then turn and head pretty much directly south to Temple Meads itself. That's what I'm thinking anyway. As it is, we've still yet to join the Western Mainlines. We are still on this branch. This branch was actually separate from the Western Main Line, so I had to buy this as a separate route DLC. It wasn't hugely expensive. I think it was only about 10 quid. It's not hugely long. It's about 11 or 12 miles. But it gave me a connection to the Western Main Lines and the Chiltern Main Line. So yeah, I was quite okay with that. So as much as I like the GBR freight livery, I think I've made that crystal clear in all my videos. I do quite like this sort of one-off British Railways green one for the Evening Star here, although this is really, you know, when I think Evening Star I don't think Class 66, but you can tell it's one of the revised low emissions engines because it's a lot quieter than the standard one. Not ideal, but what can you do? Now, if this was actually set up as a freight run, we would be very, very low priority indeed. But of course, it's a quick drive, so we will have no problems as far as, you know, we're not going to be put in the any passing loops and having to wait for express services. Not that there are any express services on this section of the route. So it's actually Islip station is next, not Oxford. I think Oxford comes after that. Sounds like the old throttle could do with a squirt or two with WD-40. Not as bad as the 67 does. But, so there goes another, I think, 165. Because one mistake I keep making, I keep expecting them to be Chiltern Line trains. Of course, no. This would be First Great Western. So in fact, that 143 I saw earlier. Okay, you didn't see 143s on this route, but at least the livery was right. So here is Islip Station. Yeah, when you see everything that was on the Bicester Village station, and then you get this one which has bugger all nothing. So we are quite happily coasting along at 59. And Oxford Parkway is next. Then after that is Oxford itself. I think there are two separate stations. No idea what that engine sound was for. I don't like the way the wagon sounds just cut in and out like that. It would have been nice if there was sort of like some gradual fade, but oh well. That engine sound, even though it's quite far away, could well be this train here. It looks like a Class 50. It is a Class 50. We've got a bit of construction work here besides, it looks like it could be building some sort of extension here. Probably a freight terminal of some kind as we go through Oxford Parkway station. At least there is some kind of building here. In fact, it doesn't look too unlike the building at Bicester Village. So we're entering a 75 zone in 1.5 miles. There's a bit of a speed reduction. Obviously it doesn't affect us. We are sticking to 60 max. And like I said at the intro, that is the speed limit for the class of freight train that we are in. It's not me being ultra cautious. In fact, it was the I've actually got 4 freight runs lined up. And this is neither the heaviest train nor the longest run of those 4. The heaviest train and longest run will both be in the same video, but yeah, it's not this one. Right, we have some flashing yellows. So I think old Oxford Parkway is just the yeah, the new name for Oxford Station. And this could be us approaching. Oh yeah, we got a 25 section coming up. We need to start braking a bit. Now what I'm hoping is that these wagons are not articulated, so we will be okay with no, I was wrong, we do have Oxford Station coming up. But I do need to brake fairly hard to get our speed down, and as always I will brake to standstill and then resume from standstill. At the rate we're going, we are not stopping anywhere near fast enough. Well, there is something I certainly was not expecting to see. So, Great Western, first Great Western high-speed train on this branch. We are still on the branch. Oxford is not on the Western Mainlines, so yeah, I am, to put it mildly, very surprised to see that. So we're certainly fine as far as our speed goes for that 25 section now, but like I say, we're going to stop to, well yeah, we are going to stop and then we'll resume from standstill. Not going to be ideal that we'll be stopping with some of these wagons on points like that, but nevertheless, that is what is going to be happening. Okay, so take the brakes off. Might get a bit of wheel slip here, but let's go straight up to notch 8 and see what the clag factor is all about. Yeah, not great because of the yeah, low emissions engines we've got. But we didn't get any wheel slip, despite yeah, well, yeah, there is a fair bit of weight behind us. Like I say, the OTA wagons, even when fully loaded, are not the heaviest. We do have plenty of them. How long is it going to take us to slow down? Yeah, see, at the moment we are speeding, but well, we will be speeding in the 25 section, but not now. Oh, but we were now. I didn't think putting it into knots 2 would have resulted in us gaining any speed. So it looks like we're going to coast through Oxford Station. So here is the 25 and it looks like it's putting us through points. So that's why that speed reduction was there. Why it took us off that line and then put us back on there, I have no idea. And I've also no idea why there's a black 5 there with Mark II carriages in BR blue. Oh, must be a yeah, rail tour or something. So anyway, yes, here we are going through Oxford. Quite a large car park here, which is a bit surprising because if there's one thing Oxford hates, it's cars. It's not as bad as Cambridge. Driving through Cambridge is just horrendous. But yeah, Oxford is not great for driving through. I don't know how long this 25 section goes on for, but by the looks of it, it's carrying on, and it could be until we join the Western Mainlines themselves. I mean, it is somewhat realistic. I mean, yeah, the fast lines next to us are at 90. We are in a freight train, so we are being kept in the slow lanes. But yeah, the slow lanes really are slow, just 25 mph. Well, now we're merging with this line next to us. Now, does that mean we will be able to speed up once the whole train has come off these points? Yes, it does. We're now in the 90 zone. So we can accelerate up to 60 again. I think we will be having to go across another series of points by the time we reach yeah, where we will be rejoining the West Coast Main Line, the Western Main Lines. Because there are, well, quite a few, if we're travelling in this direction, quite a few points that will take us back in the direction of London, but there's only one that takes us onwards to, you know, in the direction of Bristol. We'll be rejoining just after Didcot Parkway station, so we won't be going through that station. So the first station we'll be going through on the Western Main Lines will be Swindon. no one's going to want to stop at Swindon, that's for sure. I don't want to go too far over 60, so like 60.5 will be good enough. So Radley is next. So this branch is, it's a reasonable length. Right, what we got here? 37. That looked very much like it had just come from Didcot power station. It's taking empty coal wagons back to wherever. So Radley station, not a huge amount here. Yeah, very small, not very impressive station at all, really, that one. I have no idea if that's the last station before we join the Western Mainlines or not. Clearly not. Quite a vividly coloured bridge there. Get ourselves back up to 60. So after Cullen we really don't have far to go, barely a mile, and then we're going through Appleford. So yeah, this branch is a lot longer than I thought it would be. Well, at least we do have some platform stations here, platform buildings rather, so clearly quite an old station, but yeah, certainly a lot more interesting than the boring old modern ones. Let's see what Appleford has to offer. we have a speed reduction down to 40 coming up. So that does mean again we'll be slowing to a standstill, especially as it's then followed by a 25. So this must be where we are rejoining the Western Main Line. So Appleford Station, yeah, not really much there. Right, let's begin braking. Yeah, so it is points that are coming up. Yeah, there we are. So after 25 we then enter, oh, it's going to put us on the express lanes. See Didcot power station there. This looks like another steam train coming along. It is. No, it's not. It's an extremely dirty class 20. It's an RHTT 20. Well, we are below the 40 speed limit change here. Well, I hope we don't stop in too awkward a spot. That signal there, that's a freight signal, but it's for the other line, so we're okay. So these would be the entrance to Didcot Power Station. This far line would be anyway. So we are now, yeah, moving over so that we are actually on the line that will take us westbound, because if we'd stayed on our original line, which is now next to us, that would have taken us eastbound and back towards London, which would have been no good for us. God dear, yeah, we're going to be stopping at a terrible place. Well, we don't need to stop for particularly long. It's basically let the wagons all bunch up again and then we can pull away. There we go. Right, so wagons will bunch up while we are releasing the brakes. Let's go full throttle. So we can get off these points a bit sharpish. And also check the full clag, such as it is. Really thought we'd be getting wheel slip here, but nope. I mean, this thing has monumental torque figures, it really does. I'm trying to see what train that is there. I think that might be a 33. Certainly looks like one. Let's take a look. Yep, 33. I'll speed up a bit more. We can do 25, so yeah, let's do 25. Deacon station is really not very far away. It's just down there a bit. I think we can just see it. Yeah, where that you can just see like a footbridge. Might be able to see it better when we're on the main lines here. Yeah, I think you can just see it in the background there. So we're only just the wrong side of it. But nevertheless, it's another station we are not going to be passing through, which is, who cares, you know. It looks to me as though there are no slow lanes here, because we're on the outermost line, but yeah, 125 speed limit showing. I'm intrigued as to what this train up ahead here is. From here it looks like a 319, but I'd be surprised if it is. No, it's a loco, it's not an emu. Right, we can now start speeding up again. We can take a look at what this train is. From here it looks like 50. It is a 50. Don't recall seeing that livery before. I mean, I must have it, otherwise we wouldn't have seen it there, but yeah, I don't remember ever seeing that one. So never mind the 125 speed limit, we can't even do half that, but we will once again get up to 60. Anyway, we are now on the main, well, the Western Mainlines. Really, it's the Great Western Mainlines. But I think when this route was taken, or when this route was released, yeah, the Great bit had been dropped because GWR were not operating. It was first Great Western. So yeah, it looks like we are on a bit of a downhill gradient, and it's enough to keep our speed going up. We do not really want to be going much faster than we are for the kind of freight train we are. We're already going a bit too quick here. Okay, it looks like the ground is levelling out a bit now, so yeah, our speed will start to drop. It will do so without braking, so yeah, we should be alright. So yeah, the next station we're going through is Swindon, but yeah, there's a fair old gap between Didcot and Swindon, so it's going to be a little while before the next station, that is for sure. So we're now fine as far as our speed limit goes. We can actually reduce the rate at which our speed is dropping off. Get ourselves back up to 60. We're only just below it, but I'd rather not be below it. What we got here? Another 66. No idea what those wagons it was pulling are. I've got so many freight wagons that I've never even seen. Whenever I put consists together, especially if it's freight ones, I know what wagons I want to use, so I just go straight for those. I don't even look at any others. So there's probably plenty that I've never even seen before. It has been pointed out to me that even though I've done a reasonable amount of freight runs in these videos, not a vast amount, but a fair amount of them, the Class 66 doesn't actually appear all that often. Yeah, I freely admit I do kind of avoid using the 66. Not that it's bad to drive, not at all, especially not now I've got the AP version. But the thing is, when you see freight runs around the country, it's always the 66 now. You just barely see any other trains doing it. So I just like to use something different. So, like, for example, if I'm doing a freight run that's on a line that has the you know, the AC overhead electrification, you can bet your life I'm going to be doing that in a 92. Now, in some cases that would be totally unrealistic. Like if I was doing a freight run along the Great Eastern Main Line, yes, that has overhead electrification, but they would never use a 92 on that because the 92 has such hefty power requirements that it would be a massive drain on the power supply for the entire Great Eastern Main Line. So they don't like having 92s running on there. We're on a 1 in 171 climb, so our speed is really coming down. Okay, not 7, and it's finally going up. Oh, it's also partly because it's not as steep now. Still steep enough though that notch 3 is not increasing our speed. Nor is notch 4. Oh, it's because it's just got a hell of a lot steeper. It's now 1 in 82. Even notch 8 is not doing it. Now remember the torque figures on this thing. Okay, it's yeah, it's not as steep now. Speed will start going up. Leave it in notch 8 for a little bit. We've dropped a fair bit off the 60 speed that I wanted to keep. Big old breakneck acceleration rate of the 66 here. Timed that quite well. I am starting to think that yeah, if we were on the outer lines, which we should be, we would not be doing 125. I mean, can you imagine how many high speed trains and how many express services we are holding up here? Jesus Christ, they'd be they'd be after my blood. Right, I can't help it if those, you know, in charge of the signals and that have put us on this line. This might be why we are not on this outside lane. Stuff driving this bloody train, it's got to be another 66, and it is. Just a whole slew, in fact it's a 70, a whole slew of empty cargo flats. Sod that. So that one had been moved to what looked like it might have been a passing loop actually, and was kept waiting for us. So he was kept waiting for a train that's probably going slower than he is, but he will be going slower than he is. With the consist he had, he would be able to go up to 70. So he's the faster moving one. I guess I might get priority because yeah, I am actually moving stock. These vital logs for the Eden project. Look, it's the best I could come up with, okay? Whoa. Okay, yeah, we're now going downhill. We're well over the 60 now. Okay, it's leveled out. We'll let the speed gradually drop off. Yeah, completely silent because we've got the engine in idle, but yeah, for a freight train this is shifting. looks like we are now going uphill. I'll put it into knot 6. 1 in 154. I think 6 will be enough. Or then again, it may be nowhere near. It's now 1 in 132. Speed's still going down, we've got to go into full throttle. We're still losing speed. Alright, now it has leveled out a bit. We'll claw back the speed that we lost there. We are still going uphill, in fact it's just got a hell of a lot steeper, but not for very long. Gradients are all very irregular around here. Well, I didn't notice these last time we did this run, but then last time I was in the class 43. Significantly faster moving train than this, because the gradients don't really matter in that thing, it's just got the sheer speed to just go straight through them. This does not have that. 1 in 196 downhill. We're going to coast it. It'll probably take us over 60, but then we got again a slight uphill coming up pretty soon, and that will help to shave off this extra speed that we are getting. I wouldn't be at all surprised actually if this is something that freight drivers do actually do. They know they're meant to stick to 60, but on these gradients and that, they will go over slightly. But you know, better that than have to brake and possibly, you know, bring yourself to a standstill again and then have to try restarting. I mean, I do know, as I keep saying in these freight videos, the important thing is just getting there. If you're a bit late, so be it, but you've got to get there. That's the reason why the 56 and the 60 were not hugely popular, because yeah, getting there was absolutely not guaranteed. And I'm well aware that the 56 and the 60 were not good locos, but it doesn't mean I don't like them. You know, I am quite a fan of both, especially the 56, as I think has long since been established. And I'll say it once again, we need the class 69 in here. It can't be that difficult to do. Take the engine from a class 66, put it into the bodywork of a class 56, bosh, there you go, you've got the class 69. How hard is that? Right, what we've got coming up here, it's another 33. That's another train I am a fan of. I do like the old class 33s. It's basically a steroidal class 26. I really wish the 26 was in the game. But at least we've got the 33, so we've got a train that looks identical, but it's a lot more powerful. In fact, the 26 is one of quite a few locos where Dovetail Games do already have the models when they basically bought the rights to this game and basically took it over from Iron Horse. There were a lot of models that Iron Horse had in the game which Dovetail Games removed, and for some reason this is never put back in. Now, okay, there's a good chance it's because those models are now so dated they would look awful. But I'm sure they can do a little bit of work to them and stick them in. And, you know, they've got some locos I would really love to see in the game. The 26 I've already mentioned. They've got the 17. I mean, the 17 was an absolute hideous piece of shit, and it was utterly useless at the role it was built for. But it had such a distinctive look. I'd love to see that back in the game. And the same with the class 28, the Kobo. Again, it was absolutely useless. It was a dreadful loco, but because it had such a distinctive look, you know, with the Kobo bogie arrangement, it'd be great to see that in here. I think they might have even had the class 23, the Baby Deltic. I hate calling it that. That's such an awful name, but that's how it was known, or nickname it was given. I mean, being no doubt, it doesn't matter what loco they add to this. If it's a loco that ran on the UK rails and it's diesel or electric, I want it, and I would get it. But yeah, there are some that I am particularly keen to get. I mean, the Armstrong Powerhouse Class 222, which we now know for certain is coming. I mean, of all the trains or locos in the game that really don't need an Armstrong Powerhouse enhancement pack, the Class 22 is probably the first one I would mention. Nevertheless, it is coming, and yeah, I will get it. But it does show that even though, as far as Train Sim World goes, and we're up to Train Sim World 6, the demand is still there for Train Sim Classic. I don't think the demand for Train Sim Classic is going away at all. A few days ago, Jim from Jim Plays was talking about gifting me a copy of Train Sim World 6, and I did actually say to him, look, save your money, I'm never going to play it, because for a start, because I've got all the you know, all these route DLCs and loco DLCs in this, I just wouldn't play a train sim game where I don't have all of that. I will only have, like, you know, the basic stuff, and there's no way I'm going to be spending another fortune buying up, you know, the DLC for that game as well as this. So I would much rather be, you know, buying the you know, new DLC for this than, you know, starting all over again with Train Sim World 6. The other thing is, I really do not like the Train Sim World 6 HUD. It's not a favourite. I mean, I'm not going to lie, you know, visually, yeah, of course it looks better than this. What do you expect? It's using the Unreal Engine 4 or 5, whereas this is using an engine which is sort of roughly on level of the original Unreal. You know, you know, visually there is no comparison. Of course there isn't. But visuals alone are not a reason for me to want to get a game, or, you know, switch from playing one particular game to another. Now, Jim knew that anyway. You know, it's not like he was insulting me by you know, offering this, and hopefully for once I was able to put my argument across in such a way as to not be sort of like brutal, and it didn't sound like I was saying, oh, fuck off with that fucking heap of shit, what are you doing offering me that crap for, you know. No, it was nothing like that. But yeah, I just have no interest at all in Train Sim World, any of them. You know, do you like playing it? Yeah, good luck to you. Carry on. Don't let me stop you. If you do let me stop you, then there's something seriously wrong with you. But yeah, it's not for me. Now we have an original Class 43 high-speed train. A thing of sheer beauty. There are some people out there who will actually go so far as to say that the Class 43 Intercity 125 saved the UK rail network. As much as I like the Class 43 Intercity 125, I wouldn't go that far. It certainly revitalised it, especially when it came to intercity travel, but yeah, it didn't save the UK network. Anyway, we've just gone through Swindon Station, and this is yeah, the wonderful, well, the wonderful, hideous urban barnacle that is Swindon. Yeah, not my favourite part of England. I'm still not sure if bloody hell, just noticed our speed. Yeah, I'm still not sure if Swindon is Gloucestershire or Wiltshire, but whichever county it's in, it's probably the worst part of said county. Well, okay, speed is now started really nosediving. Yeah, 1 in 150 uphill climb. I'm trying to keep it around 60, and yet we seem to be spending more time either about 55 or about 64. Okay, ground has leveled out. Anyway, having gone through Swindon, I think our next stop, or next station, is Bristol Parkway. I don't know if we will actually go through Bristol Parkway before we turn off and make our way towards Temple Meads. Okay, right on cue. So there are points coming up, and we will be turning on them. So we can coast for now. Oh yeah, something that I was meant to mention at the start and forgot all about it. The one thing I'm not keen on with the AP 66, we can't open the windows. There is probably a thrash mode to make up for it, but I can't remember what the keyboard shortcut for it is, so... Tell you what, with how sparse the signals are here, we're certainly getting plenty of advance warning about these points. The route display is currently showing us at a scale, yeah, from here to here is it's about 1.8 miles, and there's no sign of it. Yeah, so you can see that's flashing again. It's a single yellow this time. And we are going downhill as we head towards the next signal. Well, if it is a 70 mph change, I'll be quite happy with that. We don't have to do anything. It does look like that is the case. Points that we can take at 70 mph, so we could still be going full bloody speed, and it'll be no problem. I think it's at these points we will know for certain if we are going on to Bristol Parkway or if we are being diverted and going to be heading straight to Temple Meads. Although there will be a fair few stations that we'll be going through if we are going straight to Temple Meads. Okay, so the 70 indicator there is for, yeah, if we're going that way to the right, which I think means really we're going straight on. Turned green just as we went over the AWS ramp. But yeah, so if we are going straight on, that means we're going on to Bristol Parkway. We're not going straight on, we are turning off, but this is, yeah, this is the way to Bristol Parkway, I'm sure of it. I'm pretty sure this is the route we took when we did the high-speed train run. So I'm going to continue coasting because we've got quite a steep downhill gradient here. We do not need to throttle up to increase our speed. 1 in 56, Jesus Christ. I hope the yeah, I hope when it levels out it gives us plenty of time to reduce our speed, because we're now doing 65, nearly 66. We are doing 66. This is properly fast for a freight train. Right, let's see how fast we are going. Yeah, you don't normally see freight trains shooting by that quickly. We've got coming up here, it looks like a 67. You don't see those very often, especially not with that sort of freight. Jesus Christ, we're picking up speed again because we're going down a 1 in 197. We're fast approaching 70 mph. I certainly do not want to be doing that. There we are, 70. Come on, where's the level ground? There it is. The trouble is, level ground is still going to take a bit to slow us down. We've got to lose 10 mph here. So what did we get up to? About 70.5, wasn't it? ETA says we will be arriving in Temple Meads in just over half an hour. So we've got through this at a good old rate. Certainly helped by the fact that I have been going a lot faster than I have in the previous few freight runs. But at the moment we're going a lot faster than I would like to be. Just coasting in order to slow us down is I say, if I apply the brakes I've got to bring us to a complete halt, and I don't really want to do that either. So this is sort of like the lesser of two evils. There we go, so we are now back into, yeah, 60 mph. I feel a lot safer. We can even, yeah, engage the engine slightly. So Temple Meads is now less than 30 miles away, so we've gone through this at a pretty good rate actually. So I know there are a fair few train sim players who are not so keen on doing freight runs. They say they're boring. Clearly I don't agree, and the reason I don't is because you do have to watch out for a lot of stuff. You've got to be wary of your speed, and then when it comes to the braking you've really got to watch out. So yeah, okay, you are going slower, there's no getting away from that, but yeah, I certainly don't find it boring at all. I do, yeah, I do like me freight runs. Well, I wouldn't have 4 on the trot line though if I didn't. So we're now going uphill. It's only 1 in 300, but it is enough to be slowing us down quite a bit. So notch 5, and all it's doing is reducing the rate at which our speed's going down. So you probably need notch 6. In fact, notch 6 is only sort of like maintaining our speed, so we need notch 7 in order to get our speed back up to 60. I know with diesel engines, it's always been the case that the power is always at the top end. But of course, this is diesel electric, remember. The diesel engine is only powering the electric motors. It's not powering our motive power directly. Very clearly a lot of farmland around here. We do have a speed increase coming up to 125. What a godsend that is. Knots 8. It's taken us a long old while to get to 60 in knot 7. Alright, let's take it down to 6 and hopefully that will sustain this speed. No, in a mile and a half, the top speed goes back down to 110. How traumatic. And we are still losing speed in knot 6. Looks like a passing loop, which surely we should have been sent in there. I mean, I said earlier about how many express trains and high-speed trains we might be holding up. I mean, can you imagine how many it is now? Jesus Christ. I think AWS really needed triggering for a speed reduction down to 110. I'm also hoping like fuck that this does not send us into Temple Meads. It's a stop where, yeah, we're on a buffers line. up here. So another 50. Here's another 50. I've got a good number of 50s on this route. I'm pretty sure when we did this run in the high-speed train, I didn't even notice this 1 in 300 climb, which has obviously been going on for a fair bit now. And it does show the slow speed of this thing. And I really thought it had the torque to be able to completely ignore you know, a climb as gradual as 1 in 300, but no. I mean, I wonder if the 59 could do it okay, because even though the 66 is by far the most widespread loco, and the one that's used for all the goods you know, freight runs, but the 59 is actually the more powerful of the two. Not by much, it's only by about 200 horsepower, but it's also got a really thirsty, well, I mean, diesel trains, diesel engines, they're always very thirsty. But compared to the 66, the 59 is yeah, extremely thirsty, and I'm pretty sure that's the reason why the 66 is so widely used, because compared to the 59, this thing is economic, you know. It's because of the type of engine they've got. This is using a V12 engine, whereas the 59 is using a V16. Those 4 extra cylinders make all the difference. I mean, yes, you are getting more power, you're getting an extra 200 horsepower, but you're using a vast amount of fuel. Another 67. With Caledonian Sleeper consist. We're approaching Bristol. What is that doing here? The ground was levelled out and I was too busy working, yeah, too busy looking at the 67 there. Let's hope that yeah, our speed drops off quickly enough. Well, if any of you know why on earth a Class 67 with Caledonian Sleeper carriages is out here in Bristol, feel free to let me know in the comments, because I'm fucked if I know. I mean, I know the 67 used to do the Caledonian Sleeper runs. That's not the issue I have with it. Right, so we are now heading towards a downhill section. Let's hope it's quite a gradual one. Yeah, if it stays this 1 in 441, that's not a problem. So notch 1 and we're able to increase speed. All I want to do is get it up to 60 again. There we go. It's now 1 in 300 and we are gaining speed. This has the potential to be a bit disastrous. How long does this go on for? Too fucking long is the answer. Yeah, again, I don't think I really needed the AWS to alert me that the top speed is going from 125 to 120. I think this tunnel is a fair old length, but I also think we haven't got too much further to go now before we are at Bristol Parkway. Yeah, according to the ETA, you've got just over 15 minutes. Which I do really need to slow down at some point. So if I apply the brakes, I've got to take us to I've got to take us to stopping, and I really don't want to do that. But I have a feeling we're going to be doing about 70 by the time we come out of this tunnel. I don't particularly want to be doing that either. So I think that 100 mph limit there. Okay, no, I was going to say that might be the exit to the tunnel, but no, it's not. A bit of a bump there, but yeah, we're all right. So, okay, we're not doing 70 at the exit of the tunnel, but we ain't bloody far off it. We're doing 70 now. So that's the AWS alert for the 100 speed limit. So we are in the 100 zone now. We are fast approaching the maximum speed we're supposed to be doing in this thing, which is 75. Well, if we hit 75, I've got no option. I will have to start. I'll have to brake. And I'm not seeing anywhere where, yeah, this downhill gradient is easing off. I do not want to be applying the brakes on a curve. Admittedly, it's a fairly gentle one at the moment. at 75. What's this coming up here? It's another 66. No, it's not, it's a 56. Right, we've got to start braking. I've got no option. I'll do it extremely gradually. So I'm applying the minimum amount of braking. But Temple Meads is now less than 10 miles away, which means that there are going to be points coming up fairly soon. So I'm not sure if the points where we turn off to head to Temple Meads, and we're going pretty much like directly south at that point. I'm not sure if they are before or after Bristol Parkway station. We are still braking. Well, we're certainly at a much better speed now. The thing is, if I release the brakes, I mean, we're not in any sort of, you know, the bogies on these wagons are fixed, so we might get away with it. Quite a hefty viaduct there. And there is Bristol Parkway coming up, so we're going to have to start braking. Hang on, no, what am I talking about? I was thinking we had to stop there. Anyway, now that we are at a much safer speed, I think I can start braking a bit harder. So I'm going to. I could brake a lot harder than this, but I don't think I really need to. I think the rate we're going, we might actually stop in Bristol Parkway, but obviously it's not a scheduled stop. And there's the flashing signal aspect, so we are going over points. It's almost certainly this 60 while we are in Bristol Parkway. can only assume that AWS thing is for the 60 limit at the other side of Bristol Parkway Station. Okay, so there's the stop. We now release the brakes and get back up and running again. I think that's a high-speed train in the station there. It is indeed. Right, 25 will do while we're going through the station. So yeah, this is Bristol Parkway Station here. So yeah, this is where we are turning off. This part round here is the route we would take if we were heading to Cardiff. So it's only yeah, just over 5.5 miles to Temple Meads. I think we'll be going through a couple of small, you know, suburban commuter stations. Yeah, Chiltern Abbey Wood. See, if they just cut down a few trees there, this journey would have been a damn sight shorter. So anyway, for this final section, we don't need to be going as fast as 60. I think 40 will be good enough. Especially as, yeah, we've got to make sure we can brake in time at Temple Meads Station. This will actually be the first time I'll have seen Temple Meads Station on this particular route DLC. Because this time it's a Just Trains route, not a Dovesale Gaines one. It'd be interesting to see the differences, because there's bound to be some. So what have we got here? It's another 143. Feel sorry for the fuckers stuck on that piece of shit. Still, compared to a 142, the 143 is the Orient Express. I mean, it's fantastic. But that's, yeah, compared to the 142. So, yeah, Chiltern Abbey Wood. A very minor and totally forgettable station. Give it 5 minutes and I won't even remember what it looked like. Not as if there was a lot there to forget, but Right, we got what looks like a fairly steep downhill gradient coming up. So yeah, we'll continue coasting. We do seem to be losing speed at a fair rate of knots because we are currently uphill, 1 in 183, but we are not going to be going uphill for very long. And this downhill gradient looks a damn sight steeper than the uphill gradient was. Yeah. So 1 in 76. We're going to be gaining a fair bit of speed here. Oh, Jesus Christ. So I hit an invisible train again. Well, that is not the ending that I wanted, but we were less than 4 miles away from Temple Meads, and I did not save anywhere, so that's going to be how it ends. What a really fucking annoying way for that to end. It was going really well. Well, we made it the Bristol Parkway, so I mean we did make it to Bristol, but yeah, that ending has probably pissed me off. Well, the route was great up until that point. There's no excuse for it, but it happens more times than I care to think. And I mean, the Class 66, we know how good that is anyway. I do like the old retro livery there, although I still think calling it the Evening Star is taking the piss. There's only one Evening Star, and it certainly isn't that. So anyway, there we go. That brings this video to a very sudden end, and we will see you at the next one.